Hi, the other day I was playing VRC and my throttle all of a sudden went sproing and it was just loose. I had no feel to the throttle at all and things were rattling around inside, so I opened it up and fixed it. And today the same thing happened with the steering. Playing VRC at Eppelheim, the steering was going back and forth an awful lot, and I think I finally just stressed out the radio on the throttle and on the steering enough to let it go after a few years. So this time I decided to show what happened and how to fix it. I'm going to switch over to my other camera, which is mounted on a trophy. It's pretty awesome. So here I have my radio set up. I hope you can see how that mechanism works. It's the same for both the throttle and the steering. It has this lever action, and the pin there can't be broken when you yank on the throttle really hard. It's actually just a little 2mm piece of plastic. So when this broke, I drilled it out and put in a metal pin, and it works great now. I broke it with some panic throttle at the Vegas VRC track. So here's the steering side with that same arm and spring arrangement, and the cam on the potentiometer of the steering makes that go up and down, and there's where the pin goes that's broken off. Here it is, just this tiny piece of plastic. What I used to fix this before was an 8-scale body clip, a really thick one, meant to never fall off. And that's, like I said, it works really well now. The drill bit wasn't biting into the plastic very well, or at least not where I wanted to. It wanted to wander, so I got a body reamer, and I can get a hole. And something to be careful of here is there's the trim switch for I think the throttle is right underneath that spot, so I don't want to pierce it too much. It does have a metal case around it, but it's it's just your throttle trim switch. Kind of important. This isn't the exact right size drill bit, so you'll see me kind of drilling in and then working it around to ream it out a bit. So it's actually a 16th, and the goal size is about 2mm. So take it easy and actually get up to the right size without taking out too much material. So just cutting and measuring and cutting and measuring, and here I speed it up a bit because it's just fitting and testing and fitting and drilling and just back and forth until I get close to the right size. Set the length of what I cut off of that body clip by measuring what fits inside the arm there, and I essentially cut double that or so, because there is kind of limited length that you can put inside the radio and still have it work. So I went to the garage and got my Dremel tool out. I cut this with a pair of dikes last time, and it worked okay, but it was kind of not the best process. Here I have just a needle nose pliers, a rubber band to hold on to the the part I want to keep for sure and not have it fly across the room. And so here we go. So this goes pretty well. Just cut through, and the clip starts getting hot here. But I had a 95% cut, so it just broke off right there. And I just want to clean up the edge a little bit so it's not quite so gnarly going into the radio, or have the arm go over that. Oh, and so some of the curve was in there, and I just pounded it flatter with a hammer, straighter. And so here's the part where I go back and forth and try to ream that out to where that pin just goes in comfortably. Takes several attempts, but it looks like I am finally happy with how that's sitting in there. It's real close to the trim switch, but it's not touching it, and it's not really going to go anywhere after this, so it's in good shape. Here's the part that originally broke in this case. It's the steering post that cams that lever. It actually just cracked, and so the steering feel is gone. I pushed it back into place and glued it. And I also built up the back side of it with baking soda and CA. So here you can see how that cam post hits that lever, and the spring stretches out when you're camming that lever away from the spring and that pivot point, and you can see it just, that's how it works. Let me find the D on this steering wheel. There we go. And there it is. It's centering and sprunging and in the right way. So this is a great way to fix it. And get your radio back when it goes sprawling in your hand in the middle of a race or something, and without having to go buy a new one or send it off for a repair. There's really not much else to go on here, and just put the two halves of the radio back together. And I think I stopped with only 1 or 2 screws in here because I didn't want a video putting in 10 screws. It's not really much to gather there. And there it is, fixing your radio when the steering or the throttle breaks. Thanks for watching.